This is a HeadGum podcast.
This is the Dumbbells, a personal fitness podcast where I'm Eugene Cordero.
And me, I'm Ryan Stanger, have discussions and answer questions on all things health and fitness.
This is solely based on our own working experience, a little bit of borough science.
Please keep in mind we're not doctors and never claim to be.
Every once in a while we do, but no, we're just a couple of dumbbells. Love ourselves some fitness, want to help you with yours.
And definitely every once in a while claim to be doctors. The help can start right now. Every once in a while.
Yeah. Every October, it's a Halloween doctor time for me, and weirdly also in May. Just because it feels like everybody's already gotten everything they needed, so I can pretend to be a doctor for that month, because hopefully nobody gets sick during that month.
Right, and also, to be fair, it's not always an MD. You know, sometimes it's just, a person with their doctorate. You know, so
that's true, yes.
Normal. This person just got their doctorate, and I don't know.
Yeah. I'm a mind doctor.
Yeah, mind doc.
I'm a mind doc, or I'm a doctor of bones, right? Is that the only other doctor there is?
Yeah, an expert on the show.
Yeah. Actually, on the show Bones. Let's welcome our guest into the weight room. My good buddy, Stanger doesn't know him. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabe Hogan.
Me, I'm Dr. Two. I'm trying to talk like you guys at the beginning, but I can't. No.
Ooh, yeah. I love that.
I was like, I'm going to goof on that. And then I started doing it. I'm like, nope, not working. So forget it.
No.
That's it for me, guys. That's all the time I got.
Wow. You just got here, bud.
No, that's true.
I thought it worked. I thought you captured our phony cadence that we start with to create an artifice before the show even begins.
me.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it, but I know that I didn't. And but I like that support though. That feels good.
Yeah. Gabe's been on a bunch of times on this podcast, and if you notice, we have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. He's just kind of an extra voice.
The third dumbbell. The silent dumbbell for the podcast, I like to call myself.
Yeah. Well, everybody loves to use 3 dumbbells when they work out.
Yeah.
That's high-level stuff. We'll get into that in the second half of this program.
High-level stuff. Are you coming fresh off a workout right now, Gabe?
I am coming from my first yoga class in forever.
Whoa.
Yeah, I like combat sports and yoga, and I'm literally, this is like my third T-shirt since I've been back. I can't stop sweating. I'm like,
was it hot yoga?
It was hot. I went into the room. Yeah, very brave of myself. But so what they did is like shorter classes. Got to be vaxxed, blah blah blah. But I actually I did it twice, I think since COVID. Inga took me to those classes on the beach, right? They sort of moved onto the beach because I live down here by the water. But this was my first one back in the hot room, and baby, whew, I'm still literally, you can't see me, listener, but I'm soaked right through still.
He's cooking.
Listener, the single listener who downloaded this episode for Gabe, which is probably just Inga, his wife.
Well, it's Greg. It's my friend Greg. We can say, what's up, Greg? Thanks.
Let's just bring him into the Zoom at this point,
Wait, then what do we do?
Remove one of the steps for him.
Yeah, and it was great, man. It was great.
So how much shorter is the session since it's in the hot room? Is it like 45 minutes?
This was 60 minutes. They do like 90-minute sessions in there. It's it's great. I mean, there's different levels, right? Some are just stretching, some are I'm far from a yoga expert. I couldn't even tell you what style it was. But sometimes they do like light weights. They incorporate stuff in there, and I'll usually jump into the more challenging ones and just hopefully someone beside me knows what the fuck's going on so I can follow their movements. Do you know what I mean? But I love it, man, because I'm still not a great stretcher and all that sort of stuff. So if I can pepper my stuff in with some yoga, it lays me out more than maybe anything. Like, even tomorrow I'll be like, in a different way, right?
Totally. I can relate to that. And also there's been some interesting research recently on the mental health benefits to particularly hot yoga. It's like you get like a euphoric response from the external heat stress. And so, and they've even like done shit where people are measurably less depressed for like weeks after they've done it.
Really? Yeah.
And so they're trying to do more research now to where they're having people, you know, like it's hard to get like a control group and all that kind of shit. It's like, how do you measure how depressed somebody is? But just like, you know, like well-being and all that stuff, they're kind of measuring, and they're having people do, you know, 4-hour sessions over the course of like 6 weeks. It's not like you have to do it every day to get like a very minimal response. It's like a big response just doing it a few times,
right?
Seemingly.
Yeah.
And so pretty cool stuff. I mean, like good, decent, you know, not phony baloney research, like good stuff out there on that. And I've kind of felt that too. Like you know, the change in your mental state from before versus after is sometimes stunning. You know?
I mean, during too, right? It's that if you if you can push through, it's like that if you're a runner or you do any sort of endurance sports, there's that it sucks for a while, and then you sort of break through and you're like, this is it, man. You feel like you could go forever, and then it gets hard again. But you sort of hit that, I think, earlier with the heat, if you can put, because it's panicky at first if you haven't done it. It's really hot and it's stressful. And
how hot is it? How hot is hot?
To 2,000 degrees.
I want to say, like people die. I mean, it's like, I want to say like, I don't want to say because I don't want to lie. I could probably look it up, but it's hot. 90s, I think, it's, right? Like for sure.
It surprises you. You walk in the room and you're like, fuck, I can't even sit and watch TV in this heat, you know, let alone do something physical.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the teacher will walk by, and sometimes they open the doors a little bit. She'll slowly walk by. You're like, please, God, fuck, please open them. Just spins around and onto your back. God damn it. But it's great. And it's Soho Yoga, and they have a couple here. And it was an MBA guy. I'm going to get this story wrong, so I can't remember. But they have a new sort of heating system, right? That sprays like, light mist of water, and apparently the filter system is like the top of the line and all that stuff. Because you do feel like going in a hot room with a bunch of people and it's so thick and sweaty, and like you start to feel like, is this just body heat? And this guy's sweat literally. So this one to me feels at least psychologically, because you read that, you're like, oh, it's super fresh, and there's lots of air filtration. But it is suffocating. It took me a bit to sort of get through that aspect of it, and now I love it, man. It's
wow.
There's got to be something to it, because if it were just hellish,
right?
Why would it endure, and why would so many people do it?
Right?
It did, because it's like it's been going on for a long time, and beyond just traditional yoga, the actual heated element to where they heat the room, has it's popular, and people keep coming back to it.
I think there's a knock on it where, because you can stretch so far when you're really hot and warm, right? You could potentially put yourself out, like stretch too far, if it's not done right and controlled or whatever. Because when your body's really hot, you can push a little further and deeper, and you could potentially injure yourself that way, I guess. You know what I mean? Which kind of makes sense, once you're really warmed up. You could like, hey, I can do the splits. You're like, oh shit, I can't. I actually,
Yeah. There was my old Muay Thai gym used to heat the gym.
Really?
Pretty hot, so it kind of matches like the training in Thailand. So it was that hot out.
That's cool.
And you walk in there and you're like, oof, are you kidding me? And then just like during the warm up and everything, you start to feel it. You start to feel like how good it is to be warm already.
Right.
Yeah.
But then then it is that thing where then it gets very uncomfortable, and then you hit that, Gabe, you were talking about it's not technically, but people call it the runner's high.
Yeah.
Which is endurance sports stuff, And then you're like in the middle of it, and you're like, okay, well, ooh, and then you feel refreshed from the inside, and then it gets hot again.
Yeah. And that's like, it's like training at altitude or something too, right? Where you,
right, yeah.
There's a street sweeper coming by. I'm going to close my window.
There's yeah, and then there's also the element of training in the cold. Like that's what Rocky Balboa did to defeat Ivan Drago.
Sure, yeah, you gotta train like like you're in the Cold War.
Yeah. And where will the fight take place? In Russia.
That's heavy. Heavy science right there.
Yeah,
they researched that.
I will push. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna push a wheelbarrow to train. Like, okay,
okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm soaking wet and freezing.
Hey, yeah. I helped this guy with his horse in the snow. Come on.
What is how often are you focused on doing this kind of training now? Just kind of
now,
and do you still train like on days like today, or is this your workout?
No, I wouldn't today. This is it for me today because I feel like Jello right now. You know what I mean? It's just like there's nothing.
Sure.
Like I said, this takes it out of me. I mean, I can train. I can go to like, sparring or hip pads or do whatever, and I could weight train later in the day. But if I have time, pretty easily, and I'll even feel good about doing it. But this is like I just want to take a nap and drink fruit juices. But I have been I've been back.
Sounds like preschool.
Right? That's what I want someone to give me a snack. You tell me to just chill out.
Yeah. Maybe
it's weird.
Every time paste or something. I don't know.
Every time Gabe does yoga, the next 3 hours he's just playing with blocks,
sending me figure paintings.
Yeah, I got more art from Gabe. I guess he did a yoga day. Yeah, we'll put it on the fridge, buddy.
He showed me the puzzle he did, and it was only 8 pieces.
So proud of it. Yeah, so I've had my kids, just me and the kids for a while. 'Cause my Inga, who you guys know, is on the East Coast. She's doing a show out there, working moms comedy because she's great and funny. But she's left me alone, so I was doing back to school and everything else. And so since school went back, I've been able to get back into the gym and train. Because other than that, it's a lot of kid time and all that kind of stuff. Maybe a run here and there, but it's been good. Actually, funny thing, it's a funny story now, but my gym here, Triton Fitness and MMA, is it's on a corner on Artesia and Redondo Beach, and there's a liquor store across the road. And I guess this old guy drove from the parking lot, thought he was one of the things, I guess he thought he hit the brake and he hit the gas and ran through the wall into the gym, into the mat area, where there's bags on one side, but this is like smashed through the wall and then backed up. And yeah, I should have took a picture and sent it to you. But he kind of had to thread a needle because there's like a huge electric pole and then another like stop sign pole. And he somehow went through them and through the wall into the gym basically. And then drove home and told his wife, I think I hit something. But John Marsh, the guy who runs the gym, said, but his front grill was there and his license plate was in the wall. So they're like,
oh my God.
Case solved, boys.
Oh, God.
And he was apologetic or whatever. But yeah, fire department was there, and it hit a water main. So it flooded the gym as well.
Oh.
So we kind of have, and the poor guys, all the gyms, right? They're finally allowed to have everybody back in. And we were kind of training. There's an outside part, that's astroturfed and stuff, but it's a lot of, circuit training and stuff. It's not a lot of rolling or, sparring or any of that kind of stuff. You can do it, but you know what it's like. So now half the gym is, we're back in there now. We can use kind of half of it, but, it's funny from the inside. It looks like a movie set. You're like, but he drove through literally through
oh my God.
Yeah. And it's like 50 feet across the street. You're like, how did he possibly? And then someone said he probably the hit the gas panic thing or something like that and went through the wall.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It also did panic and hit the gas again rather than the brake. Yeah.
It also didn't help that he was leaving a liquor store.
Sure. Yeah.
It's an interesting layer to this whole thing.
Totally. Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah. It wasn't like a meditation center or something.
Right. I should say in his defense, I think John said he did come back later and was like, he was an old guy. He's like, I'm sorry. I guess, he panicked and left or whatever. He's like, no, we have your license plate from the wall.
There's no way we wouldn't have found you. Yeah.
That'd have been cool if his face smashed. He wasn't injured, but his face smashed into the plaster wall, and they were able to put like a mold in there, like a latex mold, and then get a mask of the guy's face
like,
to track him down.
It's Mr. Krish off of 5th Street. I know that face anywhere. And I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling.
You meddling jiu-jitsu boys.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so now you're kind of into a kind of routine now that the kids are in school. And I think that's true for all three of us, right? Like, I mean, to a certain extent, we still have the baby at home and she's napping right now, but at least there's like a little bit more structure, so then you can start structuring your workouts within that thing. Stanger, has that improved for you, or it's the same?
Oh, no, a ton. You know, I have just one kid, which is nice in a lot of ways, but also, you know, he's used to like my attention a lot. So when he's home, it's like, what are we going to do, Dad? And then I don't want to bad parent it and just have him like, you know, he'd obviously play video games as much as he could. So I'm like, you know, just trying to like build shit around for him to do and be present and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, cuts in on Daddy's gym time. But yeah, now he's in school, and now like even when I did have time when he was home, just having the added scheduling of school just improves how I kind of build my days. You know, I'm like, good, he's going to be here. I got this time to do this. I got that time to do whatever. And then I find that I'm more consistent.
I think I think it helps us mentally. I think as parents in general, when kids are in school, then you don't have that guilt of like, well, somebody else has to watch them or this or that, or like, I got to make sure that I fill this time to a certain extent to do certain things. So it gives us a little bit more of that structure. And
do either of you guys have setups at home that you actually use on a regular basis? Because I need to get out. Like I keep getting stuff and I set stuff up. Yeah, I'll use it, but I'm like,
and you can't get it going.
I got to get somewhere. Also, I love, like, I think, you know, Eugene, we've talked about this a bunch, but I like being with someone else pushing me, you know, I like hitting the pads. I love sparring days. I love like that's, you know, and those like circuit training or someone going, let's go, you know, that's for me. I can lift on my own a bit, but I don't even do a ton of lifting anymore, you know, like, so that's, and also when I'm here and the kids are here, so I mean, they can always just walk in and be like, hey, Dad. And you're like, yep, what's happening? Sure, let me just stop. And go to, you know what I mean? Yeah. But do you guys have home setups that you use a lot, or do you go out?
Now, I mean, I use the stuff at home more than anything because I'm also, you know, if I am home and Alice is taking a nap, that's my time that I can do it. So I really can't leave the house.
I remember those days, right? Of course.
You know, so I try to kind of, and that way too, if she does wake up or, you know, there's any change in scheduling things, like, you know, the sitter calls in or, you know, Trish has to do something else, then it's like, I don't want to be stuck at home going like, this is my only time I can do it and not be able to do it. And I think I just kind of built it up while, you know, COVID was happening that I got so used to it. But then I got that itch, you know, as soon as things started opening up, I got that itch to like go somewhere else to do it. And, but I've gotten so used to my structure now of doing it here that like the idea of driving to the place, doing it, leaving, you know, like all of that kind of has cut into that time. Because I don't know why I'm still kind of in the mentality of I only have this amount of time to do it all.
Sure.
And I'm finally starting to get out of that a little bit of like, oh, wait, I can start living a little bit more, you know? But yeah.
Live a little. Spend an hour at the gym.
Live a little.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Gabe, I'm similar to you in the sense that I have some stuff at home. I got myself set up when the gyms were closed because I was like, I got to do something.
Sure.
And so I was able to kind of make it work, but it really felt like I was fixing my workouts with duct tape or something, you know, like
right.
I did, you know, and then like when I could just feel like my body just starting to like adjust around like the limited amount of equipment that I had. But it's definitely, it's better than most, and I'm really lucky to have all that. And occasionally in a pinch, I still use it, but towards the end, before things kind of opened back up and I felt right going again, I was really uninspired with the workouts. Like I felt like shit, man, I can't fucking do this shit anymore. And then so going back into a gym was like gave me like a real boost. So that's been great. I'm jealous of you though, because I'd like to be doing some more kind of sports stuff. I'm pretty much just kind of lifting and doing controlled cardio, you know, for exercise. I'd like to be doing something else. Maybe I'll make that my next kind of thing.
I mean, I'm just so lucky that I have this place that I love that's close by.
Yes.
You know, it's a gift.
Yeah, it's cool.
And, you know, it's like I could ride.
That's the thing that I'm so jealous
and
about.
Everyone's cool, and you know, like I've been going there for years now, and I know these guys, and I know who I like to work with, and there's classes, there's great, super knowledgeable, you know, martial art fucking masters at whatever you're into that show up there, and you know, you could take whatever, you could go this, or you could just, you know, the weight room is like outside in an AstroTurf, but under a you know, like a big awning and stuff. It's pretty pretty Southern California shit, you know. It's like it's great, man. And as you know, it's like, you know, it's who's there really, you know. You can find a weight bench and a thing anywhere really. It's, you know, for me, it's for your training and laughing with and getting it going. But again, you know, I was nervous, you know, at COVID, all that stuff. Even going back, I was just like, I got so far from everything and so kind of like, wah, wah. I'm like, oh man, I don't even know. Like, I got so far to go to get back to where I was or whatever, that old sob story. But it's not. In the end, you realize you get there. And that's the other thing about being around people and, you know, having fun and goofing off and pushing each other. You're like, oh yeah, this is fun and it's cool and it's good. I think I need that more than, you know, throwing weights around in my garage. And I still kind of, I'm like, it's a discipline that I sort of finally admitting that I just don't really have. I feel like at work, like even when we're on set, I can kind of do it because I'm like, okay, 20 minutes, I'm hitting this, and there's something about, I don't know, man.
I mean, it also gave us, I mean, at work we would do it because it also gave us a opportunity to have something else to do.
True, yeah.
That kind of was our own thing. And also, to be fair, I think the fact that both of us are there, we're like, well, I'm going to use this if you're going to use this. And it kind of gave us a room to kind of do our thing.
And I got to say, I'm so glad that you're there and you do it. Because otherwise, you know, we get all the cast chairs wherever they are, and there's one asshole doing curls in front of everybody where you just feel like a fucking shithead. Even though it's like, there's nothing wrong with it, or like slamming push-ups or something. All the guests are there like, this is... Even though it's not, I mean, feel like
Eugene and Gabe are talking about training on the set of Tacoma FD while they're filming.
Yes.
Right.
So they have some weights and some setup there, and so people. But yeah, that is weird. Like you don't want to be the one like, oh, look at the fucking psycho, or have a good workout, Hitler.
Calm down, bro. Yeah. We actually brought some stuff in for set decoration, which means stuff that they'll actually use and shoot in the show to put on the set. Like that chin up bar and the dip bar and stuff that I bought. And I just said, let's just use it, have it in the bunk room and so we can physically use it, right? Which worked out well.
I hope you're charging them, man. Get your agent in on that, dude.
Yeah, right.
That's rental. Hey, it also kind of helps the work you're doing too, because that's what you guys would be doing anyway. It is it does get baked into the soup a little bit and inform, you know, some camaraderie and you know, connection and add to the reality of the show, you know. You're
right. And we've been saying that too. We're like, every firehouse you go by, there's one at the end of my street here in Manhattan Beach, and they have a little, like a side garage. The garage door is always open, and they have it's a massive workout room with like full Nautilus stuff and Olympic weights and everything. We're like we're always like, why don't we just have, you know, a set that is a full gym, and we'll shoot it when we not or whatever. And we can use it when it's, I think that.
And those guys are always working out.
Yeah.
They're either
dude.
cleaning a truck or always working out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we need it, they're like, remember, they bring in all this stuff. We're like, oh, wow, they brought in all this workout gear for this one scene.
Yeah.
And then they haul it all the way. We're like, come on, why don't we just leave it here?
They rent it. They rent it. Yeah. But, I really want to be able to hit pads again and all that kind of stuff. And I just haven't been able to truly found a place, because your gym, Gabe, we talk about it all the time. It's just like, I would love to go there, but
it's far. Yeah.
What is that? An hour and then an hour to train. And then, now we're talking 3.5 hours to do a workout, which
with LA to Redondo Beach, you're taking aviation out there. It could take you 6 hours to make that drive.
Yeah. Just don't come in rush hour. I'll meet you there at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Rosecrans, get off on Rosecrans, aviation, fucking take PCH. Yeah.
But that's the thing, and I haven't really truly found a place around here where I feel good about that kind of training yet, or maybe haven't found the people yet that I've jumped back into that. But
it can be,
man, that would be awesome thing.
Cliquey too, right? I feel like I feel like even my gym, everyone's super nice, but I could see walking in there and being like, I don't think so. It's intimidating, even though there's a bunch of sweethearts. Everybody would be like, hey, great, come on in. But it is, part of the whole thing is people are doing combat sports and, doing violent things but in a wonderful way. But even the way these things are set up, it's, and then I think since COVID too, everything's got the windows are blacked out on all the gyms.
Sure.
And everything looks even more like. But yeah,
right, and everybody has to really truly trust. Especially in combat sports, you have to truly trust each other.
Totally.
Because you can get hurt, so it's a big deal.
Would paintballing be considered a combat sport?
Paintballing?
Yeah.
Is it called?
I think so.
Paintballing?
Yeah.
I like that. He's a paintballing master.
Yeah.
I had a friend that he and his dad would do that, and I was so jealous. And they would buy the guns and stuff, and he'd show me the guns and and I asked my dad, and my dad looked at me like I was fucking crazy. He's like, "I'm not doing what? No, I'm not doing that shit.
Right?
I'm not going to get the guns with you and wear the little they would wear the little scarves and stuff and goggles and all that. The whole family would go out. The grandma would do it. The sister
and the full Bane mask and
yeah. And then the motorcycle pads.
Like dirt bike shit.
And all that stuff. And it looks legit too. I remember my son had a video on his phone or something, and I was with his friends, and I was like, what the fuck is it? And he's like, Dad, they're paintball. And his buddies waving them around. I'm like, they look legit like assault rifles and stuff. I guess that's the idea too, right?
Yeah.
Not really my thing.
Scary, man. Not mine now, but I wanted to do it bad, man. And it was real cost prohibitive, and it just... The idea of my parents doing that with me,
right? Yeah. It would be fun though if we had a group of us together, a whole bunch of buddies, and we split up and sort of did it with each other, not in some serious kind of thing. That would be fun, actually.
Yeah.
They tried to make it a thing with laser tag, but it was indoors. And then I remember this place I went for a friend's birthday, and the big rule was no running. And we're just what the fuck?
What the fuck?
You just
this is a walk. It's like having a pickup basketball game and being like, no running. This is a walk game.
No running. Yeah. Walk. I had to jump in on this episode really quick to talk about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Now listen, Eugene and I care about you guys. We want you to be happy. We want you to achieve your goals. We want you to live your best lives. Are you doing that? Something getting in the way? Something preventing you from getting there to the promised land of positivity? What is it? What's stopping you? I tell you from my own personal experience, I had some issues with compulsive eating, and it was really messing with me. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and it ended up kind of infecting the rest of my life in the sense that I thought that I could just overcome it with willpower. I couldn't. And so I would fail. And the repeated failure started to make me depressed. I felt like there was something wrong with me, or that I was being weak, or whatever it was. And I realized that I needed some help. I didn't have the skills or the tools to overcome this on my own. I got with a therapist, and she helped me to get to the bottom of it. And I feel so much better now. But it was a long process getting to that therapist, finding the right one. Had to go through a bunch of other ones, and there was a lot of stop and start. And I would lose my nerve, and then take a couple of months off in between, and then start with the new therapist. And it was a hassle. It was stressful. It was uncomfortable, and it didn't need to be, because if I had access to BetterHelp, they could have assessed my needs and matched me with my own licensed professional therapist. I could have connected with them in a safe and private online environment that would have been so convenient, and I could have started communicating with them in under 48 hours. Instead, I just had to kind of guess on my own who I thought would be good. I had to drive to their offices. I live in LA. Sometimes that takes 10 hours. With traffic, that's not hyperbole. You see the traffic in LA? It's an epidemic. And then, I'm sitting in an uncomfortable waiting room. I'm sizing the people up there. They're sizing me up. Maybe they're speculating as to what's wrong with this guy. I didn't like the judgment. If I was using BetterHelp, I could have sent a message to my counselor anytime. I would have gotten a timely and thoughtful response. It's easy to schedule weekly and video phone sessions with them, and it's all from the comfort of my own home. I wouldn't have had to drive. I would save time. I would save money because it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. And BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. You don't have to fire anybody on your own. BetterHelp's going to step in and get involved. They're like your agent. They're like an agent for you in finding the right therapist. They're doing the negotiating for you. You don't have to do it. I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. I have to sit across a desk from somebody and tell them, look, this isn't working out. It was like I needed therapy for the therapy breakup. Also, you can find your particular expertise online. You don't have to limit yourself to the counselors that are located near you. Sometimes the geography gets in the way. You don't have anybody that's specializing in what you need. BetterHelp has got you covered, guys. They have professional counselors that specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem, and many, many more. Anything you share is confidential. BetterHelp is convenient, professional, and affordable. You don't have to listen to me about it. You can check out the testimonials they post daily on their website. Get yourself some online professional therapist help. It's not a crisis line. It's professional counseling done securely online in your own home. So many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor, BetterHelp.com/dumbbells. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/dumbbells. I also want to talk to you guys about Ritual. Dudes, great news. The multivitamin brand that we know, we trust, we love. They've been a sponsor to the podcast for years. Ritual multivitamins. Well, Eugene and I were very pleased to learn that they are doing protein powders. That's right. Ritual is now in the protein game with their essential protein. Look, protein powders can feel a little intimidating. Let's be honest. There's a lot of no pain, no gain talk. It's a lot of buff bros and dudes talking about cells and blocks and pumps. That's a part of protein, but that's not all of protein. Look, everybody needs protein. As in deep down, like on a cellular level, everybody needs it. It's a building block and a good foundation for health. You don't have to be a gym freak to need protein. You can be a dog walking freak. You can be a work in your office freak. You can be a yoga freak, whatever it is. We all need that protein, okay? And it has to be for more than just those gym guys. It's for everybody. And Ritual knows this. So their team of scientists, people from Harvard, you guys ever heard of Harvard? Reimagined protein from the ground up and inside out, from how it's made to who it's made for and why it's needed. And the result that they came up with is this delicious plant-based protein. It's offered in 3 premium formulations for distinct life stages and unique nutrient needs. And it's all made with the same high standards approach and commitment to traceability that Ritual is known for. It's why we fell in love with Ritual in the first place. Now, whether you're doing reps or, like I said, whatever else you're doing on a spiritual journey, get yourself some of Ritual's essential protein and shake things up. I dig it, guys. I'm on it. They sent it to me. I love the fact that I have this subscription service. It's coming to my doorstep. I'm never without my protein. There'd be some stretches before where I was, buying this stuff in the store and I'd forget. I wouldn't go. I did, I had the empty tub for a while and I was going without my protein that I needed. Now I don't have to worry about it. It's coming right to my door. Plus I can pause it at any time. Can change it, change how often it's coming, whatever I need. It's very easy. It's very simple. And I'm saving. I mentioned before all the stuff that we love about Ritual. The traceability is a huge thing. That jumped out to Eugene and I as being very beneficial and a huge added bonus in going with Ritual. They're doing the same thing for their protein powders, guys. They believe that you deserve to know what you're putting in your body and why. And so they have a one-of-a-kind visible supply chain. You always know what's in their formulas, where the ingredients are coming from, and why they're included. No weird ingredients that you can't pronounce, chemical sounding things, strange sounding things that you don't know why it's in there. Ritual's letting you know. They're like, hey, look, this is what it is. You can find it in nature, and this is why we put it in there, and this is where it came from, too. So, they're sourcing good ingredients. And you got to support your daily health, guys, for tomorrow as much as today. They're making their protein powder with nutrients to support your bones, brains, muscles, and help you maintain muscle mass as you age. Super important, guys. As we age, we start to atrophy and you lose your muscle mass, which is your calorie burning potential. Got to keep that muscle mass. The protein, let's get to it. What's in it? It's clean, plant-based. The formulas I mentioned that are designed for different life stages. They've got 18 plus, they've got pregnancy and postpartum, and they got 50 plus. You're getting 20 grams of pea protein plus a complete amino acid profile, and it's made with essential choline to help fill in common dietary gaps. It's also delicious, guys. It's got to taste good or you're not going to take it, right? They're making theirs with a delicious handcrafted vanilla flavor. It's got vanilla that's direct from farmer, vanilla bean extract that's sustainably harvested in Madagascar. Also, their peas are sustainably grown here in the U.S. There's no added sugar. There's no sugar alcohols. And like all Ritual products, Essential Protein is soy-free, gluten-free, and formulated with non-GMO ingredients. So why not shake things up? Why not shake up your Ritual? To make trying something new less scary, Ritual offers a money-back guarantee if you're not 100% in love. Plus, our listeners get 10% off during your first 3 months. Just visit ritual.com/dumbbells to add Essential Protein today. That's ritual.com/dumbbells and get that deal, guys. First 3 months, 10% off. Can't beat it. And now back to the show. Gabe, how old are your kids now?
My son is 16 and my daughter's 10.
16 and 10. Okay, my boy's 10. My boy's 10, just about to turn 11. Now, are they into sports?
Yeah. My son's still a big hockey player, and he's a fantastic skateboarder. He's a
cool.
Really high level skateboarder. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Harder Flip, I think, is his Instagram. He's got some cool stuff up there. And my daughter is currently playing soccer, volleyball, and she does horseback riding, and she's swimming. So there's a lot of
Oh yeah, she's staying active.
Yeah,
then, huh?
And she loves all of them.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, go. I mean, let's go. It's great.
Yeah, you're in the big pickup drop-off situation going to each of these things.
Yes,
nowadays,
and it's kind of the beginning of the school year and the beginning of all that stuff. So you're kind of like sussing out which parents are like, hey, maybe she could catch a ride with you guys to practice next week or whatever.
Sure.
I'm still not quite there yet. I mean, to be honest, that's...
Yeah, you want to make sure they're not hanging out in front of a liquor store that's right by a dojo.
MMA gym,
yeah. MMA gym.
The car might drive right through them. Yeah, which is great. So they're super active kids, which is awesome.
That's nice. My son not into sports at all. So
at all, huh? Not anything still, Stenger?
Nah, nothing really. I mean, he'll do stuff with me. Like I can, he'll go hiking and that kind of thing, but doesn't like any kind of like team sports or anything, and he wasn't naturally good at anything right away. And so that can be tricky sometimes, because it's like, it does help if you have like, just a little bit of, you get blessed just a little bit where you're like, oh yeah, you kind of have a little of, natural ability in this one thing. And then it can kind of build. And he didn't have any of that. So that's a tough way to, to start things where you're just like, hey, I promise you, if you just keep slugging away at this until you go through puberty, then you'll really be able to and he's like, I'm fucking 6, man. I'm falling down out there. It's like,
I love that he talks like that at 6. Dad, I'm fucking 6. I can't believe you brought me here from fucking Manhattan. Now, but it
Jesus
is also
Christ, Dad, you hump.
it is a lot of what their buddies are doing too, right? I mean, it is so much about what their group is doing, to like put them into something that, no one else is there. I mean, really for my daughter, I think aside from horseback riding, everything else is, she has her group is kind of into it. You know what I mean? Or one of her good friends, or she's, doing something with one of them. And then once they get into it, then, they've got their confidence in it and they sort of just want to do it. But it's tough to, I mean, when we moved here to the South Bay with my son, he was playing some t-ball back home. And we came here and he was going to play some like little league or something. We went to check it out and we're like, like these kids are like chewing tobacco at like 7 years old and hitting dingers. And they're like, yeah, my dad plays for the Dodgers. Every kid is awesome. And the level was ridiculous. And I was like, well, you know what, buddy, maybe, we'll stick with hockey or we'll go over. Cause there's that too, right? It's like when you get in and what the level and what the seriousness of it is. It's like, come on, how about just sport ball for a bit and just fucking start feeling it out and see what you want to do, right? It's so, that stuff too early can be like, just have the kids go, no way, man, those guys are nuts. Well,
Yeah. Well, yeah, the way that people get really competitive at such a young age is real tough for the kids who are just trying to get into it.
It's a turnoff, right? I mean,
yeah, it's the nature of kind of parenting in sports now. And there's been a little bit of a shift back to some of the more positive old school practices. But for a while there, it was like really specialized training in one sport.
Yes.
And so you'd get these kids playing club soccer or something, and then it would like the skill level would just keep elevating and elevating. And if you decided you wanted to play at like 10, you're already too late.
Right.
And what they found is that a lot of those kids that like showed a really high aptitude early on would fizzle out. And then they didn't have, and then they would ultimately, even if they stuck with it, would lose and start to fall off because it's proven better to play a lot of things.
Well, totally.
And then eventually,
it's so specific that those kids that play soccer at even 10 year round, that's the sport, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, it gets hollow and they're just burning. Like when I played hockey, it was like we stopped. We had an off season. Then I played baseball. Right. And then we'd go back, or I'd play lacrosse or basketball. Like the season, everything had a season. Like there's no fucking seasons for sports for these kids. They're like, they train year round. They're like, well, you're going to do this camp because tryouts or whatever. He was like, he just finished. Like he did, like my son's playing varsity hockey now. He could still be playing for the Junior Kings, but he's kind of like pumping the brakes on it a bit. And I'm like, yeah, I totally get it. You're 16. You can do whatever you want, man. I mean, but that's sort of pressure to be like, go from camp to camp to then it's a tournament team. Then it's, SummerSlam, whatever. But it's never, he's like, I want to go skateboard and hang out and do whatever. Like well, I get it, man. It's like
same with me. It's like a quality of life thing. And then it's also some guy wrote a book about, getting your kid into a athletic scholarship or something, and everybody like went crazy for it. But they've even done studies where they found like the kids that play a lot of different sports like end up playing at the next level more likely than those that are, that just pick one lane, and it's like less enjoyable. I was similar. I remember like I was like so done with wrestling by the time whatever was next started, and then I'd get into that,
right?
And then I'd be bored with that, and I was like, oh, thank God it's football season now. I can do this for a while.
You know what?
Because you just get like burned out.
It's interesting you say that, and I don't want to say it's not true, but I wonder how true it is now because there was that like ahead of the curve and like all that. There was. And you're right. The playing different sports, everybody can't be Bo Jackson or whatever. But I wonder now, because I feel like in every sport since we were kids, they're all so much better. Like they're so much better. Like the hockey players, like the worst guy in the NHL. I'm not even at all. The worst guy in the NHL right now, in the 70s and 80s, he would fucking light it up. Like, I don't even feel like I'm exaggerating like that. I feel like football is the same. I feel like all these,
I get it.
I think a lot of people will be like, you're out of your mind. But I do feel like it is like that. And I do feel like there's a new breed of these athletes. They are so specifically good at that one sport. And if they can push through and become a college or whatever and keep going, it's like, it is that new breed, and it's so hard to make it that do you have to start that early and commit when you're like 15 and stay that? I'm not saying it is, but I feel like they're just so much better. Like they're bigger, faster at every sport. Like if you don't think it is, then just whatever sport you're into, watch a game from 30 years ago. You'll be like, is this in slow motion? And why is everybody like out of shape and fucking smoking?
I think YL Tittle could still rush for 1,000 yards in today's NFL.
Right? Yeah.
For sure. I think he'd get out there, and I mean, the guy's probably running a 6 flat 40. Yeah. No, you're so right. I mean, it's crazy what's happened to the game. And I don't know what I just remember reading this is the kind of half-ass research that people come to expect on this show, but just some article where they said, like, if you look at like athlete for athlete, the ones that were most likely to play at the next level and continue to progress through sports, played a wide array of sports as opposed to just doing this. But I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, the skill level, and it is, they are doing it, and they are, getting more variety in there, but there is a high level of specificity and precision. Yeah. And I think if you look at something like that, like golf or something, like if you ain't playing it from when you're little, forget about it. Yeah. You're never going to play like in the Masters or anything, Yeah.
Sure.
There, maybe like football or something where you can kind of come into it a little bit late and just be so gifted athletically that it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
you're
some
right,
of those
gifted athletically, if you're a football player, but you play basketball and you play, those are very similar, pivot turns and this and all that sort of stuff, and the athleticism and all that. I mean, I'm not disputing that is a fact. I think it is true, but I wonder if it's changed, recently because it's so sports specific. My son has a buddy he goes to school with now, this kid Colin, who's a absolutely bonkers good hockey player, and he's from the South Bay here. And he went to school in Connecticut, like high school, and they brought him out there to play junior and whatever, and crazy high level. Like the kid is just nuts, and he's like done. He won't even pick up the stick. My son's like, should come in. He's like, I might come skate and shoot it around, but he's like, he's so done, and he's like, it was too much. Like that's all his life was. That's it, right? And for a while, he was like just all over it. And then he sort of hit a wall and went, wait, slow down. I mean, that's your entire life, right? And I think you keep going. You're like, wow, he's the best. He's Austin Matthews. He's whatever. But it takes a certain type of person, and how hard do they push their kids and stuff? Because you see it a lot. You're always like, I'm always like, calm down, man. These are kids. My daughter's soccer game. I'm like, whoa, can you not scream the whole time? Like,
come on, pass it, Sarah. God, get there.
Fuck. Fucking totally true though.
They're like
nuts.
8 years old. They're like, what the hell?
Yeah, totally.
Believe in yourself.
But I think that is the whole change in the athletes too, is, you know, the parenting. It's like, how hard do you push? How much do they really want to do it? And I feel like that's anything. It's like, oh, I think it would be awesome for my kids to learn piano. We're going to have a piano around. But if they're not going to want to learn it, like they just not naturally like, that's something I want to do. I mean, there's something to like letting them bail if they're just kind of doing it or whatever. But like, you know, like Quincy right now, you know, we had him in karate. And he loved it at first, and then he got scared about a certain thing when it came to self-defense, of them like going to grab him and him having to say no and scream and run away. And that kind of stuff is like probably the most usable stuff, but is the thing that was the least fun thing for him and the scariest, because there's like these dudes that were running the class in all black, wearing black masks, you know, covering their face, going towards them with both arms, and they're supposed to block. And, you know,
and you should tell Gabe that they wanted him to disarm somebody with a firearm that had live rounds in it. And that was felt a little.
That's true. Yeah. I was trying to convince Quincy that it was a paintball gun. Or actually, I called it a paintball blaster, and he still didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Anyways, but there was a thing where I'm just like, you know, I want him to keep going just because I want him to get over that fear of that thing, and so he can get used to it. But he just truly never, like, he would always ask, are we going to do block, punch, run away today? I'm like, I don't know. He was like, I don't want to do it. And it was like, okay. So then we just kind of stopped like about a month ago, but all he does is practice all of his other karate.
Yeah.
That's all he does. He like does it all the time. Even what, like, he learned how to fall correctly backwards and forwards, and he does it like anytime he trips, he like lands on his forearms and keeps his hands down. Like, it's crazy. But I'm just like, so then, you know, and I'm asking him, hey, when do you want to go back? He goes, how old am I now again? I'm a 4.5. I go, yeah. He goes, I don't know, like 10. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
and he might be right, man.
But
and that's
I
like
get it.
Finding the right thing, because what you said right there, I think, is such it's the tricky parenting of like, we've all heard people like, oh, my parents, you know, I wish they put me in piano. I wish they did this or that. And you go, yeah, but being a parent, you go, you know, you cried every time I brought you there, man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And in retrospect, yeah, I wish I was a great piano player. I wish my parents, but do you? You know what I mean? So there is the thing where with my kids, I mean, I tried to say, like, you have to play something. Like, I don't care what it is, but, you know, you got to do something. That's sort of where it's at. But if there's heavy pushback on it and tears and whatever, I'm like, I'm not going to fucking, you know, then don't go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, you want to temper it with, like, there are those times I don't want to go to practice. Well, come on, you're going to let your team down. And there have been maybe tears or whatever, but, you know, you try to sense the times when they do need to be pushed, but also you don't want to be the parent that's like, you know, fucking go, Sarah, let's go. You know, like you said, but there's a medium in there it's kind of tricky to find that footing sometimes, right? That's part of the parenting thing of like, so down the road, you're like, you know, you're going to be really happy that you did this, and that, you know, later on you'll be able to play the piano, which leads to understanding all the instruments or whatever, right? It's like,
you can suss it out too. It's like, I never let him quit during a season. I said, look, you're trying this, you're committed to your team, and you finished a season.
Right.
I could tell, and he was a trooper. He would go to practice, but I could tell he was miserable. And then with that, I was like, okay, next year you don't have to play baseball. You tried it for 2 seasons or whatever. And, you know, even just trying to work with him on throwing and stuff. And it was just like, I just did not want to be there at all, but he would do it. And so I didn't push after the season was done. But with piano, there's a little bit of pushback, but I'm like, no, dude, you're fucking, I don't care if you're, you know, miserable all the way through it. We ask you to do very little things. You can practice a half hour a day and go to your lessons. And that there's also, he's not going to be humiliated on the piano bench either too. So
right. Yeah.
You know, you know what I mean? There's that factor too. And it's just like, look, while you're under our house, we all have our responsibilities, and this is one of yours. It's you're going to keep doing this. I will put my foot down on that. But I will challenge myself to try to find something athletic that he can do that he enjoys, or at least, you know, tolerates.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm still looking.
There's not
for
a lot
something.
of piano parents watching going, let's fucking go, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some are,
I mean, there are, but they just do it in a different way that is mentally
and we don't
destroying, more destructive.
we don't see them because it's the privacy of their homes. My daughter has been taking drum lessons for quite a while now too, because we have a
she's so
back
good,
line
dude.
set up in our, it's very cool. But even her, like, she talks about how, you know, she has her back to school thing all about me, and she's like, I'm a drummer and I'm this and this. She had drum lessons on Sunday. She's like, Dad, let me skip. And it's just something about, I'm like, no, you know, I did even say, I said, you know, you talk about you're a drummer, you say blah, 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 this is part of it. And she back into it. But again, for some reason, it's not always, but a lot of the times it's like, no, you're doing it. Let's go. Come on. And then after she's done, it's like, oh, it was the best ever. We learned this and we played a Weezer song and whatever. I'm like, great. But, you know, it's that constant sort of thing. There's not a lot, especially practice, right? Like even Ryder for practice, he's like, he just wants to play games. I'm like, I get it, man. But, you know, it's your team. I'm sort of left that to him. He's on Team Snap. He's setting it up. I'm like, you're not going to show up. You can go ahead and text the coach, and you know, it's like,
yeah.
But they've got,
well, that's what's so
kids can have horrible instincts sometimes. That's as a parent, you got to step in. I used to joke with Eugene that like, he's not like this now, but even empathy things where there was a time there where I was pretty confident. If I said, look, man, you can have this Snicker bar, but if you have it, 10 kids you don't know will die. You probably take the Snicker bar. Yeah.
He's still going to eat it.
He's going to take, you know, and it's just like, you got to over time, you know, point things out and make them understand and, you know, break shit down for him.
That's so funny. You know, literally what my daughter said to me driving her to school this morning, just out of the blue, she's like, Dad, this is morbid and a really random question. And I'm like, morbid, okay. And she goes, would you strangle me to death? And I was like, no. She's like, listen to the end. Would you strangle me to death for all the money in the world? I was like, no, sweetheart, no. She's like, okay. I'm like, what? Why? Like, would you strangle me? She's like, no, but I'm just curious. I'm like, what? Those kind of questions are so funny, man. I think I could have went, maybe, and she would have, yeah. I don't know. It's like,
I get it, Dad. That's a lot of money.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, yeah. Eugene, I cut you off, buddy. What were you saying?
No, it's just so funny to think about all of this and like how kids hate going to practice and hate doing this, but love the real games. And then when you become an adult and that's not your life, all you do is practice and you rarely play any game. Like everything, like training, like even sparring and stuff. It's just all practice.
Yeah.
That's so true.
For what? Nothing. It's not for anything. It's just for like life.
That's so true.
So you're just like, oh, now all I do is practice.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Even especially become an actor too.
Yeah.
It's all practice.
You very rarely get to act, you know. That's interesting.
But awesome. Gabe, great. So let's I mean, now that you're here, let's chat a little bit about on Thursday. We got season 3 starting.
Yes. You know, I was talking to Marcus Henderson last night on the phone. He reminded me about this screening thing tonight. The thing. Are you doing that?
I forgot about it.
I forgot about it. He's like, hey, tonight. I'm like, yeah, great. Wait, what is it again? He's like, you were RSVP.
Eugene's hungry for more promo, so.
I don't know. It's like a Warner thing. This is probably boring for the podcast, but it's like the Warner. We're watching 2 episodes. Foreigner is going to play a song or something.
Foreigners?
Yeah.
They're going to play
Hot-Blooded. They do Hot-Blooded as your opener.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I think they're playing it live. I didn't honestly read it too much. I know I RSVP'd yes, and Marcus was like, "You signed up to show that you're kind." But you know, it's virtual, right? So we log on and say, "Hey, we're here," and we watch the. Eugene, have you seen the episodes yet?
No. Have you? You did?
I'm not color corrected and done, and some of them were long and whatever, but I kept bugging them to send me whatever versions that just the edits, like the long edits, that are not sound mixed and color corrected and blah, blah, blah. But it's great, man. It's great. Great.
So give us a couple funny, Gabe, a couple funny things that happened with you and Eugene. I mean, you can't tell the show, but I don't know, maybe filming or something.
Well, I think we have to.
What can you say?
I think we have to tell. Well, first of all, we had great guest stars this year. I think, we keep getting better and better on that front. I think we have to tell the Stipe Miocic story, right? Don't we? Have you told that story yet on here?
Yes. I think maybe we got when he had just filmed or something and you guys were kind of decompressing that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we did, right?
Yeah, but retell it a little again. Give us that anecdote and then give us a couple of the guest stars that are coming up this season.
Sure. Well, Stipe, the heavyweight champion of the world of the UFC, was at that time. It's Francis Ngannou now. We had him come on, but I think we did tell this story where he commented on something on Instagram on our show's page. And then me and Huge started texting. I don't know if he sent it to me. And we're like, holy fuck. He's like geeked out on it. Yeah. And then we reached out and I DM'd him and I said, hey, what's up? What do you want to do? He's like, yeah, I love the show. I want to be on it. So anyways, he came on it and,
I didn't know that you guys actually kind of spearheaded and got him on. That's cool.
Yeah, we got really excited.
Yeah, it was like nanoseconds from, I think he posted that. I think you sent it to me. He's like, hey, check it out. Stipe just commented on this. And I was like, oh, and I DM'd him right away. He's like, hey, what's going on? And then I was DMing.
Well, because he's a fireman as well. Yeah,
that's right.
And we're big, combat sports fans and fight fans. And so he got back to me, and then I started messaging whoever runs our show's Instagram. I don't even know. And they're like, yeah, he likes it. He wants to be on the show. So we both called Steve Lemmy, who's a producer, showrunner, and plays Captain Panisi. And he was kind of like, whoa, yeah, calm down, everybody. Asking me, well, I think whoever runs the Instagram, Eugene and I, pitched some ideas. I think our idea was that it was a social media thing, and we were sort of goofing on him on social media. Then he finds out who we were, and he sees us at a call and confronts us or something. So they took that idea and sort of spun it into, we have a podcast, a sports podcast, and we goof on him. And then he shows up because he's doing a tour of the fire stations, which he does, and beats us up. But having him there was great. And he was just the sweetest guy and, open to talk about all our dumb questions, asking him about, you're going to fight John Jones, he was just great. Like, he was great, all of it. And humble and like nervous to kind of act. And, he was great, but when it came to the part where he does beat us up, he's supposed to punch me, and I'm down on the ground looking up at him, going, "No, please, please!" And he kind of clipped me with just his fingers and hit me in the nose, and he felt so bad. Like, he felt so bad. And I thought I was going to have a bloody nose and come up and it's going to be embarrassing for him or whatever. Because even just a clip of someone who can hit like that was intense.
Yeah, he can.
And also, you don't know. Like, it stings and you're like, did I get smoked really hard? Like, you don't really know until it takes about, 20 seconds later, you're like, oh, I did get really knocked. Or you're like, oh, it was okay. You know what I mean? That first little sting, you're not sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I got up and it was fine, but he was like, and we have a clip of it too, and he looks over, he's like, I hit him. And they're like, oh, is he improvising this fucking moment here? Because it's supposed to be in the background. But he really did.
Yeah. And he's supposed to be mad at us, and instead he's just like
feeling guilty.
Upset. Yeah.
Poor guy, man. And then I think he's supposed to, I think he picked up Eugene and slammed him into the fire truck too, which was
in the truck,
which was hilarious.
With such ease.
Oh, yeah. Scary.
But he was great guy. We've kept in touch, and I think don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I don't know why he's not fighting or why he should.
Sure.
I don't know why there's no Ngannou. Stipe 2. Everybody else got one. Anyway, who else did we have? We had Whitney Cummings on it. She was great. Super funny.
She's great.
High energy. Awesome chick. She was hilarious. Dave Cockner was a force of nature and just
he's amazing.
So funny. And
Keckner's so great in the episode.
Keckner.
I think everybody's gonna.
I call him Cockner. Because,
we
we're buddies. And, just kidding.
It's funny.
But yeah, we have some great ones. Even while we shot through COVID and everything, and people came out and were awesome. And yeah, I think every show says this season's better than ever. But just even watching, because our first episode out that's premiering this week is like about us kind of quarantining, but it's not for the same kind of, it doesn't kind of follow the path of COVID or anything. It's just kind of like how we go stir crazy. And I think that's the best way to handle it. Yeah.
And that episode is really funny. It is. I watched it. That made me laugh out loud. It's funny too, because it feels so long ago, because everything takes longer because of COVID. So since we shot it to then watching it, I was like, oh man, it's really.
I mean, it was last November,
right?
That we shot it. Man. So it's been almost a full year for it to to go through.
When you yell at Chief, I think they have it. There's a clip that they put up on Instagram when you're typing, when you're trying to write your novel.
Yeah.
And he comes in and you yell at him, and then you're shocked because you yelled at him is gold. It's so funny, man. I think your and Kevin's stuff made me laugh a lot. Kevin made me laugh a lot when I watched all this stuff. I was like, oh man.
He's the real talk. He's the secret weapon of like that. He's the best actor, I think.
When he's high on the thing, I won't give too much away, but his run on when he's out of his mind and he's just riffing on like, you should build an owl house or what, like just the shit. It's fucking so funny, man. It's bananas.
He's so good. Yeah. It's a fun one. I think everybody's gonna love it.
Okay, so Tacoma FD season 3 starting tomorrow as this airs on True TV. What time?
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
on Thursday nights. Every Thursday.
And people can catch up on HBO Max.
Yeah, seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, you can watch seasons 1 and seasons 2 on HBO Max now. So yeah. And hopefully, we'll find out sooner than not, and the turnaround will be better for us to do another season.
Yeah.
I would really hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no shortage of material, and I think everybody's game.
Well, it's the perfect time now. You mentioned each episode each season getting better, but that's what, for like a comedy like this, that's what happens because the writers know you guys now and they know what you're good at. They also know what people like and what was funny about it. It takes a few seasons for all that to kind of emerge. And then now the world is there, it's up and running, so it can just be like, great, play, have fun, and then this is where the fun shit starts really happening. Season 3, season 4, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think it gets out there too. That people go, oh, this is a really fun show to do. Everybody's great. You can improv, you can do whatever. So people will, come and do it as a guest too. You know what I mean? We get some fun people because. The word on the street is it's like, it's great. We're happy that people can come and play and sort of do what they want. And it's, which makes it great. I don't think we ever, don't use the people we get. You know what I mean? Like we really let them do their thing, which is great, because we get these talented people and you're not sort of jamming them into like, just say this and do this. It can go, I can go bananas sometimes right into outer space.
But then also the people that we've already have on the show that have been kind of recurring are back and so locked in and so great. Like Jess Lowe coming back and, and Jamie coming back to play Polanski is just
Susie.
Great.
I can't believe we got her. She's like busy doing every other show on earth, but
sure. Yeah. So it's good. And all the new people that like, the cool thing is, it's a world building thing. So it's like everybody that we have, there's an opportunity for them to come back. And, it just makes it such a fun world to kind of be a part of. So hopefully we get to do a billion more.
No kidding.
And it just keeps going.
Yeah. But, it is literally so much fun. It's the most fun I've ever had. I don't think I ever have a day when I'm driving a set where I'm going, oh, I'm doing this, It's It's not lost to me. It's also not lost to me. It will never fucking get old that there's billboards on Sunset Strip with our faces on them, man. I'm like, damn.
I know.
I drive by one every day. It's cool to see. You guys look great, man.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love it. I just want it to keep going, and I think we're gonna have so much fun if it does keep going. But hopefully that means that people will enjoy this season, which I think they will. Which starts Thursday, 10 p.m. True TV. Gabe Hogan's on it, star of Tacoma FD.
Yeah, baby.
Gabe, is there anything else you'd like to plug or promote?
Other than those buys.
We got a double bicep flex from Gabe.
Yeah. Is this? Are you guys showing? Are you recording this to show it? Because
no.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough. No.
Never.
Sorry about that. Sorry for doing that.
No,
there.
never.
That was more
Never.
for the
Never.
at-home audience.
Never.
No, I have nothing. Nothing coming up. Thanks for bringing it up, Sanger.
Oh, cool.
I have nothing else to promote.
That's what I thought.
I've been doing some painting.
Social media wise,
I'll be doing some painting later, like some finger painting and block. I will send you images of it. I don't know if you want to throw it up on the old site.
An 8-piece puzzle.
Yeah.
After
Gabe's going to learn about sharing, so that's good. And sounds good. All right, perfect.
And he'll find out about what all those farm animals do.
Oh, the noises, they're confusing, but you get through it.
Yeah. Social media, where can we find you?
Hogan Film. That's it. Hogan Film. All
there
my
it is.
things.
Great. And you can reach out to us at The Dumbbells on all social media. You can email us any questions at askthedumbbells@gmail.com.
And on behalf of myself and Eugene Cordero, The Dumbbells, and our wonderful guest today, Gabe Hogan, we'd like to remind everybody that's out there listening to Train Dirty,
Eat Clean,
and Live in Between.
That was a HeadGum podcast.